Are Christians going to have tough times? You bet. But we're going to have victory in the end too. So even though the Antichrist makes war with us, we will be victorious in the end. It's promised. Stay tuned.
Holy Spirit, come and refresh me. Holy Spirit, come.
Welcome to Through the Bible in 5 Minutes, and I'm your host, Brad Keeney, as usual. And today we're going to be doing episode 46. It's Revelation chapter 13, verses 5 through 7. Remember, there's 45 other line-by-line chapter and verse episodes that lead us up to this point. So to understand context and everything, it's kind of important to look at those. And also, remember to like and share and subscribe if you're interested in following through with this simplified Revelation study focusing on the futurist view and what may be happening in our lives and what we may be seeing even in our lifetime. So with that, and kind of keep these simplified and short, we need to get right to work. We have a lot to cover today. So with that, let's get right to Revelation chapter 13, verse 5. And we're going to go on for context's sake beyond that, but we're not going to discuss after verse 7 today. And then we'll start early next time and kind of get through here too. So, Revelation 13:5. And he, who is he? We know from previous episodes he's the Antichrist, or the first beast of Revelation 13. And he was given, notice given, a mouth to speak great things and blasphemies. And he was given authority to continue for 42 months. We've talked previously about that 42 months from Daniel. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. And it was granted to him. Notice, it was granted to him to make war with the saints and overcome them. Doesn't sound like fun, but that's coming. And authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. All who dwell on the earth will worship him, those whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. So notice, God's in control. God knows what's going on here. But we see this beast come up, this blasphemous beast, and he's making war with the saints. Where else do we see that? Because remember, the Bible explains itself. And again, I'm sharing these things with you, but I want you to pray and read for yourself and have the Holy Spirit and the Lord show you what the truth is. We're just discussing this as food for thought here. But where else do we see the Bible explain that? Well, that's Daniel chapter 7. So let's go there, starting with verse 20. And the 10 horns, remember we saw that earlier in studies, that were on its head, and the other horn which came up, before which 3 fell, namely that horn which had eyes and a mouth which spoke pompous words. Remember, we were just talking about those blasphemous words. And whose appearance was greater than his fellows. I was watching, and the same horn was making war against the saints, just like we saw in Revelation, and prevailing against them. Doesn't sound like fun. Doesn't sound like fun at all. But what have we got? Let's keep going. Verse 22. Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was made in favor of the saints of the Most High. And the time came for the saints to possess the kingdom. Now we're going to keep reading. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be a fourth kingdom on earth. Notice the kingdom, which will be different from all the other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, trample it, and break it in pieces. The 10 horns are 10 kings, who shall arise from this kingdom, and another shall arise after them. Notice they come first. This is after them. He shall be different from the first ones, and shall subdue 3. And now I didn't want to go on too deep into that, but the point is, we will win in the end, and we're going to look at something else like that witnesses that also in the future here. But what we're going to also see here is, I want to remind us, something hit my heart as I was reading this year, that the one world government, the 10 kings, this fourth kingdom, comes before the Antichrist. Oftentimes we're looking for the Antichrist, or we're looking for the mark of the beast. But this kingdom comes first. Well, we have the World Climate Accords, the Paris Climate Accords, which, interestingly enough, China, one of the worst ones, is not doing much to help with that. And also India and things. But, it comes down on us very hard, and our electric car mandates and all these other things. But we have this world pulling together. We have the world pulling together for climate change. We have the world pulling together for this virus situation that we're going through currently. This happens to be being recorded right now in October of 21, in case someone's watching this later. Today's actually October the 19th of 21, just for reference. But we see the world coming together. So there's a one world government coming. And remember, that comes first. The Antichrist comes after. But I want to go back to that theme again about how we're victorious. Let's look at Revelation chapter 12, verse 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they did not love their lives to death. Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. See, we do overcome him, but it's not easy. And sometimes it's by our testimony and our death. Let's look at Revelation 15, verse 2. And I saw something like a sea of glass mingled with fire, and those who have victory over the beast, over his image, and over his mark, which we talked about, and over the number of his name, standing on the sea of glass, having harps of God, and they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God. See, we overcome, we have victory, we sing. So remember that. But are things going to get tough? Yeah, probably. But hopefully, I pray the Lord will be with you, He'll strengthen you, and hope to see you next time. Verse 47 on Through the Bible in 5 Minutes. God bless.